Hello, DeSoto ISD Eagles. This is Mrs. Gill again, one of your district librarians. And today I'd like to read an informational text entitled Kwanzaa, and I want to share with you a little history about Kwanzaa. Before we get started, I do want to mention with informational text, you should expect to see text features such as captions and also fun facts found throughout the pages. Although this story won't allow us to read all of them, I do want to encourage you to come back and revisit this important information. All right, so if you're ready, let's begin. What is Kwanzaa? Well, Kwanzaa is an African American holiday, and every year millions of people celebrate it for 7 days. It starts from December the 26th and it runs through January the 1st. People celebrate with their families, their friends, and others in their communities. What's a community? Well, a community is a group of people who live together in an area. And while celebrating Kwanzaa, people eat delicious foods, they wear special clothes, they sing, they dance, and they celebrate their ancestors. Let's talk about how it began. Well, Kwanzaa, it was created in 1966 by a teacher named Dr. Malana Run Karanga. And Dr. Karanga's idea for Kwanzaa, it came from first fruit festivals that took place in Africa. During fresh fruit festivals, African people come together to celebrate the harvest. They give thanks for the crops they've grown and for what they've achieved by working together. Kwanzaa is the time for African Americans to think about what they can achieve by working together. Did you know that many first fruit festivals in Africa were held for 7 days at the end of December, just like our Kwanzaa today? For hundreds of years, African Americans were forced to be slaves. By working together, however, they gained freedom and they achieved equal rights. Kwanzaa is a time for African Americans to learn about their history in America and to celebrate their cultures from Africa. Let's look at some of the principles of Kwanzaa. The number 7 is an important part of Kwanzaa. That's why it lasts for 7 days. There are 7 principles or main beliefs celebrated during this time. The principles are unity, self-determination, working together, cooperative economics, purpose, creativity, and faith. Dr. Karunga chose these principles after learning about African culture. He knew these beliefs had always been important to many African people, and he wanted people to think about them. Did you know that some people write out the 7 principles on a sheet of paper and they hang it on a wall during Kwanzaa? Each of the 7 days of Kwanzaa is dedicated to one of the principles. To celebrate a principle each day, a family, they light one candle. Let's look at some of the symbols. So there's 7 symbols for Kwanzaa. And a symbol, remember, it's something that stands for something. The symbols for Kwanzaa, they are the unity cup, the candle holder, crops, including fruits and vegetables, 7 candles, a woven mat, corn, and gifts. The symbols are used during different parts of the Kwanzaa celebration. People gather together for 7 symbols of Kwanzaa and they display them in their homes. Let's turn the page to learn more about these Kwanzaa symbols. What they mean. Each of the symbols, they stand for something important in the lives of African Americans. The unity cup, it stands for staying together. In fact, another word for unity is togetherness. The candle holder stands for the ancestors who lived in Africa long ago. The Swahili word for candle holder is kanara, and the kanara is made of wood. It stands in the middle of the Kwanzaa display. Fruits and vegetables stands for the first African harvest celebrations and the hard work that it took Africans to grow the crops. 7 candles stand for Kwanzaa's 7 principles. The woven mat, it stands for tradition and history. People place all the symbols on the mat, and each ear of corn, it stands for each child in a family. And each kernel represents children who will be born in the future. The final symbol is gifts. Gifts stands for promises made during Kwanzaa that are kept throughout the year. So, getting ready. How do people prepare? People prepare for Kwanzaa as a family. They place dedications of red, black, and green all around their homes. They gather the Kwanzaa symbols. The family chooses a unity cup of wood or metal. And then they make or buy gifts and a candle holder. They arrange colorful fruits and vegetables in baskets. And when all the symbols have been gathered, the family places them together on a woven mat. People also get ready for Kwanzaa by making or buying colorful African clothing to wear. Did you know that people make food after celebrating each day? They use things like squash and bananas and even lamb. Let's talk about the candles. An important part of preparing for Kwanzaa is gathering 7 candles to place in the Kanara. These 3 candles are red, 3 are green, and one's black. The 3 red candles, they go on the left side of the Kanara. These candles stand for the people's struggles. The 3 green candles go on the right side. They stand for good future. The black candle in the middle, it stands for Africa and the African American people. The family, they light 1 candle on each day, on each of the 7 days of Kwanzaa. Unity. On the first day of Kwanzaa, family and friends, they gather together and they light the black candle. On this day, they celebrate the principle of unity. After lighting the candle, everyone takes a drink from the unity cup. And unity and togetherness, they mean different things to different people. Family members share their thoughts about what unity means. The family celebrates unity by sharing their love and enjoying close friendships. And they promise to keep their community strong by working together. At the end of the celebration, the candle is put out. Did you know that people may give one another gifts during the 7 days of Kwanzaa? Gifts may include books by African American authors and handmade items. That's a neat idea. Self-determination. On the second day of Kwanzaa, the family relight the black candle, and then they light the first red candle. Family members and friends, they drink from the unity cup and they talk about self-determination. What is self-determination? Well, it means having confidence in one's own self. People promise to think and speak for themselves. Some people might perform a skit to show others who they are or who they hope to become, while others, they teach children how to beat African music on drums. This gives children confidence and it connects them to their ancestors' traditions. After the celebration, family and friends, they usually have a meal together. Speaking of together, the principle for the third day of Kwanzaa is working together. On this day, the family relights the black and red candle. Then they light the first green candle. Do you remember what the color green represents? That's right, the future. On the third day, family and friends, they drink from the unity cup. They talk about collective responsibility. That's a big word, but it means working together to solve problems. Many families, they spend this day working together on household chores. Did you know that having a potluck dinner is one way to work together during Kwanzaa? Each person, they make a dish to bring to another's home, and then they share it with everyone. Is it like something you do at home? Sharing wealth. On day 4, the family, they relight the candles for the first 3 days of Kwanzaa, as well as another red candle. They drink from the unity cup and celebrate cooperative economics. What is cooperative economics? Well, it's using your own wealth or money and possessions to help others. People work to help other African Americans in their neighborhoods. They may promise to shop at stores that African American people own. Purpose. Purpose is the 5th Kwanzaa principle. On the 5th day, the family, they drink from the unity cup again before lighting the candles from the first 4 days, as well as another green candle. And this time they talk about purpose. Having purpose just means accomplishing things and living in a way that is useful to others. People talk about the goals they want to reach the next year. They promise to respect others and themselves. They agree to learn more about African American values. People tell African American folk tales. They sing African American freedom songs. These remind families of great African Americans who once lived. A fun goal is to reach for the 5th day of Kwanzaa is to make homemade gifts for others. Some people might cook food. Some people give it to others as gifts, while others might even decorate bottles and fill them with spicy vinegars. Let's look at the 6th principle, which is creativity. The Swahili word for creativity is kumba. Having creativity, it just means using your imagination to make new and original things. On the 6th night of Kwanzaa, people light the first 5 candles and the 3rd red candle. They express creativity by making up dances and they tell stories about African history. People also play African instruments. They tell stories and they sing songs. They might create art projects such as African masks, sculptures, and even drawings. And then they talk about how they can use that creativity to make their community stronger. And finally, on the seventh day of Kwanzaa, all the candles are lit, including the final green candle. And the seventh principle is faith. Having faith is to believe and to trust. The last day of Kwanzaa is for reflection or just quiet thinking. The family members, they drink from the unity cup and they reflect on the family they have in themselves and the faith they have in themselves. They reflect on the faith they have in their family and in their African heritage. Children and adults, they explain what faith means to them. They promise to keep in themselves, in their families and friends, in their African heritage.